Random planets! The only way we'll know this guy is smart is if he has a well-worn famous philosophy book in his hands. Also, glasses.
How deep do we need to go?
7,000 feet. Searched all over India for this thing. Used to be the deepest copper mine in the world.
This rickety elevator travels 11,000 feet by the time Dr. Satnam finishes one sentence.
The neutrinos are causing a physical reaction.
That's impossible.
Sounds like it to me too. Unbelievable view of Capitol building from hotel is unbelievable.
This is a black tie event.
I agree that's a stupid rule, but this news is so urgent that Adrian couldn't put on the proper attire before he got here? Black tie event, but no black tie required as long as you have a jacket.
You need to read this, sir. You need to read it now.
Guy who doesn't take this scientist seriously decides to look at the report because the scientist yelled at him. There really was a G8 summit in 2010, and while it was in Canada, it was in Huntsville, Ontario. Come on, Hollywood. You made this movie after this event. All you had to do was Google. Danny Glover isn't too old for this shit in this scene.
Mr. Makarenko wishes to have his interpreters present.
Mr. President, I can assure you, your English is more than sufficient.
Except in the areas where it's not. I can't really know your English vocabulary, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Also, his translator is translating this sentence. How can his English be good enough for any conversation if he can't even understand, Mr. President, I can assure you your English is more than sufficient for what I have to say?
The world, as we know it, will soon come to an end.
Well, at least he's not being vague about things. I sure am glad this movie keeps reminding us what year it is in every scene, or else I would just think every scene is a new year and it'd be 2156 by the time the movie's over. Oh, shit. I thought this was the Da Vinci Code for a second. What the f is this again? Also, this movie's only just now starting?
I'm a dead man.
It's so refreshing to see an irresponsible divorced dad in the movies. I'm glad this guy's so messy that his own books are strewn across the floor in a manner that we can find out he's a writer. Jackson Curtis isn't in a horror movie yet, but he has all the cliches down after 1 minute of screen time. Wow, good thing Jackson is a limo driver these days, or he'd have been f***ed for transportation. Discount white Morgan Freeman. Also, end of the world sign that normally doesn't mean anything takes on significant meaning now cliche.
What about sleeping? Have you been doing any of that lately?
Man, she seems so nice. Hope she doesn't have a new boyfriend who's a douchebag.
I've said it 1,000 times. No lipo on Fridays.
She needs to put these on every night before she goes to sleep.
Well, at least it's not asthma. But can't a kid just be a normal f***ing kid without having some issue that the hero has to worry about?
Laura, ils nous ont menti. J'ai organisé une conférence de presse pour demain.
Apparently it's roughly the same time in Paris that it is in Washington, D.C. right now. If the car was supposed to explode, why was there a guy driving on the dude's tail this whole time? Why does the car blow up now and not earlier? Man, I bet that older kid is playing video games, has headphones on, and hates this shit right now. Yep, this happened in the middle of the night Washington time, but the morning paper already has a story on it.
I just talked to him, Dad.
Is she oblivious that the guy died while she was on the phone with him?
Only a dozen people in this administration know what I'm about to tell you.
Dad, what's going on?
Geez, didn't you just hear him? He said he was about to tell you. Worst father ever not only takes his kids inside restricted area in giant wilderness park, but then continues to just casually take in all the surroundings even while elk are boiling on the ground in front of him.
This is wild. This is really wild.
This isn't even a character. They literally just filmed Woody Harrelson doing his typical daily routine and then used it for his part in the movie. Also, the director said, why don't you eat a pickle? It'll make you look even crazier.
This is unbelievable. 2,700 degrees Celsius or 40,000 feet?
Okay, I guess I was cool with the Indian guy telling us they were 11,000 feet underground a minute ago, but I am not okay with this continued use of feet measurement from scientists. I mean, I know many of us are dumb Americans, but do we really need to know feet in this instance? Wouldn't 12,000 meters still sound deep enough? Let's give this guy glasses, a notepad, a cane, and 3 pens to make him look extra nerdy.
It's a national park. There's not supposed to be posted fences, right?
No one in the entire United States has ever brought up this military takeover of Yellowstone except the crazy Woody Harrelson guy. Jackson Curtis, and by proxy John Cusack, is apparently only 33 in 2012.
You're not by any chance the Jackson Curtis wrote Farewell Atlantis, are you?
Did they forget to tell Cusack the camera was rolling?
Do you really believe those people would behave so selflessly knowing that their own lives were at stake?
Struggling author's book just happens to have themes that overlap with this movie.
It's too early.
How can this guy be shocked that the crust destabilization is happening faster than expected, especially after the revelation that his calculations were off just this morning?
The Mayans saw this coming thousands of years ago.
Even in this movie, it's a sin that a scientist believes in the Mayan calendar.
I'm gonna arrange an airlift for you from Delhi.
Thank you, my friend. And good luck.
And now, f*** you. It's amazing mosquitoes survive for hundreds of millions of years with this signature buzzing that they do to give away their location.
Why don't you download my blog?
I'm pretty sure you would never download a blog, and I'm pretty sure even this crazy character would know that. So this is where CGP Grey got his inspiration.
A cataclysmic event will unfold caused by an alignment of the planets in our solar system that only happens every 640,000 years.
Strange that scientists have never seen evidence of these cataclysmic events that happen every 640,000 years, which isn't long when you're talking about Earth's age. Shit, that's about 709,000 cataclysmic events in Earth's history, if that's true. Orgy of Evidence tells you this asshole loves pickles.
Bullshit. Nobody could keep that big a secret, Charlie.
Tell that to the people hiding Tupac.
They're selling seats.
Put me down for 3.
No, guys like you and me don't have a chance. You'd have to be Bill Gates or Rupert Murdoch or some Russian billionaires.
It sure is great that Charlie mentioned that Russian billionaire qualifier, because Jackson just happens to know a Russian billionaire, and this will be important later. Kate picked up 2 Good Nights packages, but when her pervy boyfriend suggests they should make a baby, she has 3 of them. Parking lot begins tearing in half without any warning signs or sounds making their way into the interior of the store.
You gave up med school so you could have Noah. Then you practically raised him Lily by yourself.
Pointless exposition argument.
I mean, I don't know, honey. I just feel like there's something pulling us apart.
Devastating cataclysmic Earth event has a sense of humor. Also, 2 people in the background, one with headphones before the crack destroys the store, and absolutely no one in the background in the next shot. In fact, it looks like the whole store evacuated in 2 seconds, except for Kate and Gordon. Plus, their shopping cart had way more in it before, including those Good Nights, but now it has 3 packages of Huggies in it. Kate just downgraded her 7-year-old daughter to toddler status. Ringing the bell seems unnecessary, considering that this chick is right behind the counter.
Fortunately, there were no fatalities or injuries reported.
A tremendously huge chasm ripped through the busy grocery store, and not one person got hurt or killed.
The magnetic fields have decreased by more than 80% in the last 48 hours.
Are we to believe that once the president told all these countries back in 2010 about the catastrophe headed Earth's way, that they all just left the updates to this one guy in the United States and didn't call on their own scientists? Yuri hears his phone playing his day during the middle of a loud boxing match. While getting pummeled in an intense fight, this boxer somehow notices his friend leaving the arena. When we saw Yuri leaving the arena earlier, it looked like he was leaving his girlfriend behind without a word and about to board the rich people arc. Now it looks like she caught up to him, they both had a good night's rest, and they could easily have watched the rest of the boxing match without all the f***ing drama. Also, super convenience ensures that regular dad deadbeat author character we've spent so much time with will suddenly become close in proximity to the rest of the plot.
But we have tickets to go on a big ship.
You see, this is exactly why this bullshit couldn't have been a secret for very long. These bastard kids probably told everyone about this ship.
Did you hear that?
Jackson can pick up Charlie's backwoods Yellowstone radio broadcast all the way back in LA.
Is this your plane?
Yes.
Are you a pilot?
Yeah.
I want to rent it.
Jackson is never more than 100 feet away from alternative transportation and just happens to have an expensive watch and a willing pilot to get this plane.
We had basically 0 earthquake.
Literal discount Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Noah has music at 2 and...
Non-biblical movie has a character named Noah and just so happens to have arcs in it. Heroes literally make it out of danger at the very last second cliche.
Hold on to those eggs, dear.
Okay, I know this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, but come on, either the characters are in a dire survival situation or they're in the movie Airplane. Which one is it? Instead of the much easier sidewalk, Charlie chooses the path through the front yards filled with trees and fences. And somehow doesn't get completely stopped in his tracks through all that. Haha, serves you right, hilarious old ladies who didn't know any better.
Gotta get to the Santa Monica airport. We'll take the freeway, it'll be half the time.
This guy has never driven on LA freeways. All during this mad escape, we've seen inescapable damage right in front of them, but Jackson keeps finding magic portals where there are no other cars and no other large-scale damage to keep driving without harm. Jeez, I thought they were conveniently lucky a few seconds ago, but damn. Now Jackson avoids a rainfall of cars on one side and a bridge of falling cars on the other side. Seriously, he should have made about $1 billion driving people through time and space with this limo. This movie wants me to hate it, right? This entire escape deserves about 50 more cents. Any objections? Man, that car scene was really ridiculous. Thank God we're back to something realistic. The geologist quarterbacking the end-of-the-world crisis from the back room in the White House.
Who's that? Our pilot!
Gordon! Gordon, you can fly?
Well, of course he can. Destruction continues to head directly for Jackson and his family as if it's personal. Wow, this scene with the plane escaping the earthquake is exactly like that other scene with the car escaping the earthquake. You know, 3 minutes ago? Inexperienced pilot eases this baby in the air under the least optimal conditions and it goes without a hitch. Gordon unreasonably flies the plane through downtown LA so that we can see all the action movie-friendly destruction. Wow, it's amazing what a couple flying lessons will teach you. Don't feel too bad for these people. It's not like they didn't know they lived on a dangerous fault line.
But it ain't the end of the world.
Song lyrics coordinate with the plot.
Hello.
Dad.
Adrian.
Is this Magnolia? Is every character related to some other character we've already seen in this movie?
After 25 years on the wagon, are you out of your mind?
Character can't just have a drink without breaking some sort of record sobriety streak.
Mom, no!
That's all right, I'll take her.
Jackson unnecessarily takes Lily on this trip to find Charlie.
Fireworks are gonna start. Who is that? Who's speaking in the car?
Kate hears the Charlie broadcast through the phone so clearly it sounds like a person talking in the trailer.
Over there.
Ah, now we see why Lily is here, so she can impossibly locate Charlie on the top of a mountain at this distance while on the phone. F***ing run! Wow, this scene with the camper escaping the volcano is exactly like that other scene with the plane escaping the earthquake. You know, 10 minutes ago.
Daddy, it's following us!
Shut up, kid. It's always following us. Movie tries to out-ludicrous the ludicrous bus jump from Speed. Just because this movie is unrealistic and you're not taking it seriously does not make it fun when the average Joe does something so completely impossible that one wonders why the filmmakers even bothered putting him in peril in the first place. They actually set a standard for what speed Gordon needed to take off in the plane, 85 knots, which is 97 miles per hour or 158 kilometers per hour for all you non-dumb Americans out there. There's no way the plane can be going a slow enough speed for Jackson to catch up to it and then accelerate to the speed it needs to take off in the amount of runway they have left. Either that or Jackson is currently running anywhere between 60 and 80 miles per hour right now, and well, fuck that. She's f***ing stronger than Iron Man to be able to pull him up into a moving plane. This plane escaping the volcano scene is exactly like that other camper escaping the volcano scene. You know, 3 minutes ago? No.
We're gonna need a bigger plane.
Movie thinks a casual Jaws reference will get it off the hook for all the other non-Jaws shit it has in it.
2 8.5 tremors have left the people in the streets, desperately fighting for the last remaining resources.
Is this a documentary playing on CNN right now? Who reports like this?
Easy, gringo. I know what I'm doing.
This is racist for both parties.
President's not coming.
He told only me, his geologist.
We had to monitor everybody you knew. How do you think we kept it a secret for so long?
So every scientist in the world learned about something sinister going on and kept it to themselves, but announced that they were going to say something about it so that the government could have time to kill them?
Tamara.
What are you doing here?
Excuse me.
She's a patient, honey.
What? The girl who is coincidentally the girlfriend of the Russian guy John Cusack works for is also coincidentally a patient of the plastic surgeon Cusack's wife is married to now?
Hands it up! Abort takeoff! You do not have clearance! You must abort!
What the f*** does the air control tower care if any plane flies out of here? Why the f*** are there people in the air control tower when huge plumes of black death are coming their way anyway? This plane escaping the plumes of black death is... ah, f*** it.
Is that the Eiffel Tower?
I think so.
Yes, let's have a good laugh at the death and destruction. We interrupt this action film to bring you 7 years in Tibet. Well, feels like 7 years at least.
How did you meet Dr. Silberman?
As you can see, not the same way you did.
This is insulting to both parties.
Doctor.
Please, call me Adrian.
You should definitely go flirt with the president's daughter a few moments after she found out her dad was gonna die. Movie says, here's two people who ought to be in love. And it was so. The right phone lines continue to operate perfectly for our main characters while the world falls apart completely. Ah, the heavy hand of symbolism. To save some money, filmmakers resort to using stock footage of regular everyday cruise ship disaster. John F. Kennedy destroyed the White House.
I'll do my best, I promise.
Aw, this is such a touching scene. And I just realized they've been on this plane for 20 minutes of movie time. That is an eternity.
It's like the whole world shifted by 1,000 miles.
1,578 to be exact.
How the f*** do you know that? If this bullshit Earth crust displacement is messing up where everything is, then how do you know exactly where you are down to the foot? We interrupt this apocalypse to bring you Alive. This time with kids.
Get in the car!
I don't care that it's a life or death situation, Yuri is not allowing Jackson to drive his new Bentley.
It won't start!
2 car won't start scenes with 2 different cars in one movie. 10 or so luxury cars flying out of a plane while Jackson drives a Bentley on ice? F***ing child's play. How does a plane running on fumes explode as soon as the nose hits ice? This makes for an interesting shot, but I'm pretty sure this would kill the giraffe in this kind of cold weather. And this elephant.
Does anyone have any money? We can bribe them.
I do. You got €1 billion?
Well, I've seen a plastic surgeon turn out to have piloting skills, and you drove a limo through a falling glass building, so yeah. Why doesn't someone have €1 billion on them right now? Man, there are a shit ton of people who have billions of euros to throw around. I guess you really wanted a shot of them walking with the burning plane in the background. But bullshit on that shit right there. Here's the shot of the plane going over the cliff again. Please point out to me the footpath they would have taken to walk down this f***ing thing.
I actually liked the way I looked before that monster talked me into it.
Did you know he asked me for a discount?
A guy who throws around millions and billions of dollars is gonna flinch on an operation that cost at most 10 grand? Come on. I agree Yuri's a bastard, but that's not true when you know it. And our gang is once again saved by what amounts to a mirage in the desert. A monk and his truck. Random suffering in slow motion.
What is this? You could fit 10 people in here.
Yeah, but it would be all crowded and stuff. Working cell phone signal at this point in the movie is an undeniable middle finger to the audience from the director.
The flooding's gonna hit earlier, is that what you're telling me?
Why is it a big surprise that things are happening sooner than calculated? These changes have been happening exponentially ever since Satnam told Adrian that the neutrinos were going haywire back in 2009. Every step of the way in this movie, the changes have come sooner than expected. These scientists seem to be nice guys, but they are bad at science. There isn't one person on this planet who realized the speed of all these things. Also, they make Carl out to be the big politician asshole in this movie, but given the information that he gets from the scientists, which is constantly wrong, it's hard not to agree with the asshole decisions he's had to make in this flick.
You don't have to take all of us.
Kate just starts speaking English to this dude like she knows he speaks it.
Why should I do that?
And to our amazement, he does.
I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying.
Oh, so you do consider that people might not speak your language from time to time. And it sure is good they hooked up with the one truck driver who already had the whole sneak onto the Arks thing planned out with this other dude.
If my father were here, he would open the gates.
Well, then shit. The dead president's daughter has spoken. Throw open the gates.
What will you tell your children? The people of Russia, along with China and Japan, agree to open the gates.
Impassioned plea from constantly wrong scientist gets top politicians to open the gates even though they only have 15 minutes to get the hell out of here.
But I will remind you that we have very limited resources and extremely limited time.
Actually, I kind of agree with the asshole character here. Look at this stupid group of people. They're still pushing each other off the ledge over 5 minutes after the first of them reach the ledge. Movie easily solves that how do we get Jackson and Kate back together without Kate needing to make a tough choice problem. They have cameras inside the hydraulics of the gate opening mechanism. F***ing seriously?
I tracked Dr. Helmsley.
ARC cameras locate Dr. Helmsley in 1 second after the order was given, and they're even able to zoom and enhance.
We're headed straight for the north face of Mount Everest.
Well, of course you are. And not only that, but the Great Wall of China and Stonehenge. Also, you mean the 1,500-foot wall of water that washed into the mountains somehow formed a new ocean that is 29,000 feet deep? How the f*** could this ship possibly be floating at this altitude? Also, shouldn't all you f***ers be having trouble breathing then? I'm bummed out my husband died, but it's really a nice fallback to have reconciled with my original husband so recently. We interrupt this disaster movie to bring you Titanic. Hero Kid. Jackson and his son both died holding their breath too long underwater. Screaming yeah underwater. Cameras are everywhere people need them to be for any dramatic moment. What an asshole I've been this whole time, cliche. Oh, f*** you. Also, it takes 4 digits to express the year 1.
We worked it out. Somehow or another, we all have relatives in Wisconsin. The end.
Ha ha. What a terrible book. But since Jackson wrote it, what a great book. Also, was she sitting here reading the whole book to Adrian even after he's already read the book?
It's good.
No, it isn't.
Dr. Helmsley to the bridge, please.
Intercom cockblocking.
The waters are receding, much faster than we thought.
Even when there's good news, these scientists can't figure out the speed of anything.
I mean, wherever we're all together, that's home.
Yeah, f*** Gordon. Actually, they're called Good Nights, and you just lost your sponsor. Columbia movie ends with the Universal logo.
You're one of the lucky few who bought it.
I didn't buy it.